So just a reminder to everybody, of course, that the IAME Nordic Cup 2024 does give away tickets to the IAME World Finals across 4 of the classes, because we have tickets to go for the winning driver in Mini, the leading driver in Junior 60, because of course Junior 60 is an open category, so it's the leading IAME driver that will get the ticket to the World Finals. And then, of course, the winning driver overall in Junior X30 and Senior X30. So there are only 4 tickets to give out in the IAME World Finals here at the IAME Nordic Cup. And those obviously are going to be very hotly contested for all of the competitors in the class. So the drivers will get themselves around the circuit for the 3rd and final formation laps of the Minis here in the IAME Nordic Cup. And it's going to be an interesting battle once again between Vebjorn Danielsson and Adrian Mikkelsen, who'll be battling away on the front row of the starting grid. We've had 2 different winners so far from the Mini category, namely Adrian Mikkelsen in race 1 and Espen Moe in race 2. So can Vebjorn Danielsson shake off the demons from the earlier 2 races and become the 3rd different winner in 3 races in the Minis? It'll be very exciting to see who gets the job done, but a very competitive race battle nonetheless, as all of the drivers are going to want to come out of this one with a very impressive performance on the back of it, and will certainly be gunning for the win. 10 laps of the course once again here at Varna, and it's going to be Vebjorn Danielsson that leads us around from Adrian Mikkelsen, Ole Sorle Smistad and Lucas Emil Löfshus, and then Marcus Pauli Rangard and Espen Moe from Oskar Polsberg and Magnus Brathen, Julian Dalheim-Ley and Theodor Larsen from Christian Gether-Gundersen, Axel Remmenhatler, then Thomas Nove, Robin Panian-Sven and Silas Savarad Elfsen. Are we going to go racing? First time of asking. We certainly are, and it's a great start from the pole sitter for the leaders coming through. Vebjorn Danielsson ahead of Adrian Mikkelsen. The first lap, it's a very perfect start as far as Vebjorn Danielsson is concerned. He holds his lead. Straight up into 2nd place comes Ole Sorle Smistad. So Smistad has made a fantastic start and a good move up the inside there for 3rd position. I think that might even have been Adrian Mikkelsen getting himself back into 3rd place, having had a tricky start to the race. A couple of drivers managing to catch each other out on the opening lap. But now the drivers are really charging their way down to the hairpin one more time at the end of the first lap, and a couple of drivers running a little bit wide. That could cause a bit of an issue for a couple of drivers losing positions. I think that was Robin Panian-Sven who lost a couple of positions, but that's a lead change, as that is Adrian Mikkelsen moving into the lead past Vebjorn Danielsson on the final lap, or final corner I should say, of the lap. But now they're going to go side by side down to the first corner. Vebjorn Danielsson determined to get the lead of this race back again on the inside line and reclaims the lead. So Vebjorn Danielsson manages to take back the lead of this one. Very close indeed. Oh, a couple of drivers having a moment there. I think there was a little bit of a clatter together of 2 karts going off there on the bridge. So we've had a driver, I think, go into the wall on the far side. So a couple of drivers in a difficult situation there, and a very angry couple of drivers by the look of it. So who is it that's gone down the order? That looks to me like Christian Gether-Gundersen and Theodor Larsen, but also Marcus Pauli Rangard has dropped all the way back. So very unfortunate there for Pauli Rangard. Has gone all the way down to the back. So now we've got a duel for the leaders once again, and it's Vebjorn Danielsson versus Adrian Mikkelsen in 3rd position. That is the 197 of Ole Sorle Smistad. Then the Sodi of Lucas Emil Löfshus, and then Magnus Brathen from Thomas Norve. So a couple of moments then on the end of the first lap. And it looks like we've got a slow-moving Paralin dropping down the order there. So something has happened to someone in the midfield, because we've got a slow-moving kart losing a few positions there. Espen Moe seems to have fallen all the way back to 9th position. Not quite sure what happened there, but also I think we seem to have had a problem for Oskar Polsberg, who has fallen all the way to 13th. So some big problems there, but a very unhappy Marcus Pauli Rangard, who has now fallen to the back of the grid and is desperately trying to fight his way back into contention. So the leaders are coming through once more, and it's Vebjorn Danielsson in front of Adrian Mikkelsen. The 2 leaders still battling away for position, looking very strong. 3 laps done, 7 to go. The fastest lap of the race has just come in, by the way, from Vebjorn Danielsson, but the fastest 3rd sector of the race is Espen Moe, who has actually done a 15.253. So Espen Moe has a great chance to fight back. In fact, it's going to be... Oh my goodness! A big incident on the back straight. 2 karts coming together, and it's red flags. So that is the leaders, I do believe. Vebjorn Danielsson and Adrian Mikkelsen fighting for the victory. And they have come together on the back straight. Fortunately, both drivers are okay. and they're actually going to recover Vebjørn Danielson's kart. Well, talk about that for sporting. So Vebjørn Danielson and Adrian Mikkelsen involved in an incident then for the victory on the back straight. But both drivers are out of their karts. It obviously went straight to red because one of the karts did a proper barrel roll. But it looks to me as though both drivers are okay. So that is the good news. But that's a very dramatic end to the race for both drivers. Vebjørn Danielson and Adrian Mikkelsen. The marshals are there with them already inspecting the damage there to those karts on the back straight. So the top two drivers have dropped out of this race. So Vebjørn Danielson and Adrian Mikkelsen no longer a part of this battle. They're going to drop their way back down the bank. But that is not the way that either driver wanted to retire from this race. And so their incident has brought out the red flags. But it's big drama here because that is the two drivers who are essentially the fastest two drivers from qualifying, Vebjørn Danielson and Adrian Mikkelsen. Certainly in Vebjørn Danielson's case, he was hunting for his first race victory of the weekend, as Adrian Mikkelsen was hunting for his second. And so now there's definitely going to be a bit of a change of the guard for the remainder of this race. It certainly changes things. The good news, however, of course, is that both drivers are okay. They are just being looked after by the safety teams. So as both drivers walk in, that is obviously very good news. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank goodness that they're okay. It is very good news indeed to see both drivers walking in of their own accord. And that is the very important factor out of this race. Two very good competitors, two drivers going for the same bit of racetrack. It doesn't always end well. But the good news is that both drivers are able to get back to the pits under their own steam. Thank goodness for that. Right, well, with both those drivers out of the race and both those karts being removed from the circuit, that means we've got a very different racing prospect for the remainder of Junior 60. This could get very interesting because we've got, for the remainder of Mini, I should say, because now we've obviously moved away from those two drivers. From Danielson and Mikkelsen, we now have a whole host of drivers gunning for the victory in Mini without them, because we've got Lufsus, who's going to be going wheel to wheel with Odesora Schmistad on the restart. So it's definitely going to be an interesting battle for all of the contenders on the restart of this race. And we've got several drivers who could take a big result as a result of this particular incident. Now, the two drivers, I'm told, Adrian Mikkelsen and Vebjørn Danielson, are now back in pit lane. They're just going to be given a check over by the safety teams, which is absolutely what should be done under the circumstances. They obviously have to be given the chance to do that. Always better to be safe than sorry, but it could make a very interesting grid for the pre-final tomorrow. Meanwhile, the mechanics have made their way back to the starting grid to assist their young minis on their restart. But with the two main protagonists out of the race, that drops us from 15 karts to 13 karts. So it's going to be a very interesting restart here, that is for sure, as the 13 remaining drivers are just waiting to hear news as to what position they're going to be starting from, and obviously what sort of order they're going to be in when that happens. But a very dramatic run in this race then for Adrian Mikkelsen and Vebjørn Danielson, the two drivers battling for the lead of the race, and they took each other out of the race, unfortunately. And so the red flags came out instantly. And the race will continue now without the two drivers. So that's particularly dramatic based on what we've seen already so far. So now the result, the starting grid, I should say, will now be as a result of the order on the previous completed lap, I would say, minus the two drivers. So by my math, that's going to be Odesora Schmistad, who's going to be starting from pole position, and that's where he appears to be at the moment. Second place is going to be Lucas Emil Lufshus, who is there in second on the grid. And then there's going to be a couple of shuffles of the deck, I think, as a result of where karts actually ended up stopping on that particular part of the course. But it's certainly going to be A-OK for the drivers that are in the positions they're in. So what's going to happen is the karts are going to be maneuvered into their single file formation, And I think that's how we're going to restart. I think we will actually kick off again under single file formation on this restart. So certainly for the time being, it's a pretty dramatic case of affairs in the Mini X30 category, with the two leading drivers from qualifying ending up having an incident while battling for the lead of the race. And then, unfortunately, both drivers ending up exiting from the competition. And so they will have to obviously continue tomorrow, but we don't know which positions they'll be in for those restarted races. They'll certainly be a lot lower down than the front of the grid, because a DNF at this stage is definitely not going to help out either Adrian Mikkelsen or Vebjørn Danielsen. So this battle for the pole position for the Superheat tomorrow in X30 Mini suddenly became about consistency, as it'll be the driver that's ended up getting the best possible results from the 3 races across the board that's going to have the best possible chance of taking pole position. So I've got to do some quick math here and try and figure out who's done a fair job of it. Well, Espen Moe has had a 4th place and a win. Interestingly, Ole Sole Schmistad has had a 5th place and a 5th place again. So it is going to be tricky to see who's going to get the best of this. I think the favourite for pole position now on paper could well be Espen Moe, but he didn't have a great start and so finds himself a little further way down the field. So actually, both Vebjørn Danielsen and Adrian Mikkelsen could still have a decent chance of starting the pre-final tomorrow morning from pole position. It just depends on how many points are scored by the drivers around them. So it's very tricky now to see who's going to get the best of this. It's going to be very tricky. And don't forget that there is an IAME World Finals ticket on the line in the mini category. Everybody wanting to get the most out of this, so they'll be pushing very hard to make sure they can get a decent result. But obviously that's become a lot harder now that things are a little bit closer and a bit more even across the categories. So the drivers are now being put into position. They'll be given the chance to restart very shortly. And then, of course, we'll be on the formation lap again for this restarted race. And I think because we were 3 laps in, we're going to get 12 laps for this restart. The engines come on. Apparently there's going to be 7 laps to go, because it's obviously a 10-lap race. So 7 laps to go rather than 12 laps to go, because this race was meant to have 10 laps and not 15. So the drivers have started up again, and it's going to be an interesting restart for the man in pole position, who now, of course, becomes a very happy and very surprised Ole Sole Schmistad, who saw that happen directly in front of him and probably thought that birthday and Christmas had come a bit early for him. But Ole Sole Schmistad will lead them around on the formation lap in front of Lucas Emil Lovshus. So everybody is going to be able to take up their resident positions off the start again as we run behind in formation position. But it is the minis that will go around. Looking forward to the restart. And it's definitely going to be particularly exciting to see who is going to make the most of this opportunity. So we'll have to see how this all plays out for the contenders who remain. 7 laps to go in qualifying Heat 3 for the IAME Nordic Cup in Mini. We're waiting to see if we go racing. First time of asking, and we do. We're up under starters' orders. So we're back into the action in the Mini category. And it's going to be an interesting one, but there's a return for the 187. That's Adrian Mikkelsen, who is going to get going again from the pit lane. So Adrian Mikkelsen, they seem to have got his card going again from the pits. I'm not sure how legal that is, but Adrian Mikkelsen has restarted regardless. So we're back into the action for minis. I'm not entirely sure what the issue is with the timing screen, but for the moment, the timing screen is not actually coming up with the right drivers. So we're going to have to continue just watching the drivers as they go through. Certainly for the moment, it is Ole Sole Schmistad who leads the way in front of the 191. That is Lucas Emil Lovshus. And then, of course, behind him, we have the FA kart. That is the driver, the 122 of Magnus Brathen, who is now in 3rd position. Now the timing screen has come back in. So Robin Panjan Sven is in 4th place in front of Thomas Norway. Then Espen Moe in 6th position. And then we have Axel Remen Hatler in front of Silas Severed Elfsen, Christian Gethe Gundersen, Marcus Pauli Rangard, Oscar Polsberg, Theodor Larsen, Julian Dalheim Lai, and Adrian Mikkelsen is in 14th place. But the battle up front is raging. Lucas was trying to make the bid there to get past Ole Smistad and has not been able to get through. So Ole Smistad is the race leader at the moment in front of Lucas Emilofsus. Then Magnus Brathen. And a great battle going on further back. 4th position, that is Robin Panjan Sven in front of Espen Moe. A lot of drivers out of position. So it definitely makes for an exciting race of it as Espen Moe is going to try and go for the move into 4th position. Down to the first corner. Can Espen Moe get into P4? He can. So Espen Moe now 4th place. This is a great chance for Espen Moe. He took a victory earlier on today, don't forget. So Espen Moe is hoping that he can continue this on and maybe even go for a victory. With the time we got left, that is going to be a tall order as Lucas Emilofsus tries to go for the move on Ole Smistad to try and get the lead of the race. Down to the hairpin, has not been able to make it stick. They've got Magnus Brathen behind them, and then directly behind them is Espen Moe. So Espen Moe does have a chance here to come away with at least a top 3 finish, and that would pretty much guarantee him pole position for the Superheat tomorrow. Off the turn, still having a very tidy early race of it. Lucas Emilofsus right in behind Ole Smistad. Fastest lap of the race comes in then from Espen Moe. He senses that the chance is there and is definitely going to be hungry for it. Closing in on Magnus Brathen, that would certainly start the ball rolling for him. Up through the braking zones and down the drop, up towards the tunnel, under the bridge. The drivers are having a very smooth race of it now in the top 4. They've broken clear of the rest of the train. 5th position has as well. That is Robin Panjan Sven. It is a great train for 6th place. That's Thomas Norway, Silas Severed Elfsen, Christian Gethe Gundersen, Marcus Pauli Rangard, and Christian Gethe Gundersen. Now, what has happened to Espen Moe? He has dropped back into 4th position, but now really starting to hunt down 3rd place as both drivers have caught up to the new leader, Lucas Emilofsus. So Lucas Emilofsus has hit the front ahead of Ole Smistad. So now we've got 4 drivers battling for the win. 3 laps done, 3 to go. It's only a 6-lap sprint for the return for this race in what was meant to be a 10-lap race total anyway. So now the drivers are really starting to hunt down the opportunity. It's going to be tough on the far side of the course as Lucas Emilofsus is going to have pressure here from Ole Smistad, who decides against making the overtake. Then Magnus Brathen and Espen Moe right in behind. 4 different drivers here hunting down the victory in Mini. Sodi, Kart Republic, FA, Kart Republic. All from the same group except the leader, Lucas Emilofsus, hoping to hold the lead of this race down the straight. And the Sodi Kart driver looking good at the front end of the pack. But for how much longer? Trying to pop up. Not going to happen for Ole Smistad at the moment. Magnus Brathen, 3rd position ahead of Espen Moe in 4th. Then Robin Panjan Sven. And then it is Silas Severed Elfsen from Marcus Pauli Rangard, Thomas Norway, Christian Gethe Gundersen and Theodor Larsen. And then Oscar Polsberg, Julian Dalheim Lai, Axel Ramanlatta and Adrian Mikkelsen, who's at the back of the field, having just set the fastest lap of the race at 49.47 for Adrian Mikkelsen, who is all the way down in 14th, of course. So now Espen Moe has worked his way through to 3rd and now through to 2nd, past Lucas Emilofsus. So Espen Moe is into 2nd position and looking pretty good to try and continue his move forward. This is a pretty good run from Espen Moe, 2nd position, 1 lap to go. But if I was Espen Moe, I'd settle and consolidate 2nd place. I wouldn't try too hard to go for the bid on the man up front. It could well be an easy victory here for Ole Smistad, but the man in 2nd, Espen Moe, will almost certainly book himself pole position for tomorrow's Super Heats by being very consistent through the races. A 5th place, a win, and what could be a 2nd should be enough for Espen Moe to be provisional pole position for tomorrow's Super Heats. But it's definitely going to be tough all the way. Espen Moe is not done yet. He wants one final crack at Ole Smistad. We've got battles further back, but we've also got a duel for the lead all the way to the line. Here comes Espen Moe, right in behind Ole Smistad, and it could be a run to the line, but it is Ole Smistad. He gets the victory in front of Espen Moe and Lucas Emilofsus. So Espen Moe can be very happy indeed with that. I have a feeling that's going to be Espen Moe in pole position for tomorrow's Superheat. With the consistency of the 3 races, that should be enough. Well, brilliant work then from Ola Solismistad, Espen Moe and Lucas Emilovshus in the top 3 after a very dramatic qualifying heat 3 for the minis. But that was absolutely what the doctor ordered as far as Espen Moe was concerned, fighting his way back after a difficult start. And so the race continues on despite the problems there. But a really exciting battle for the contenders as the racing will resume for minis tomorrow. Well, they've definitely given us some entertainment in that one. Ola Solismistad taking the victory in front of Espen Moe and Lucas Emilovshus in 3rd. Then it is Magnus Prathen in front of Ruben Panian-Svein and Marcus Bolli Rangard. 7th place for Stella Savred Elefsen, then 8th place for Thomas Norve. 9th position for Christian Gitter Gundersen and 10th place for Theodor Larsen. Oscar Paulsberg is 11th. Adrian Mikkelsen recovered in the end to 12th. And then Julian Dalhamlai, Axel Remen Hattler down at the back of the field. And the one driver who couldn't take the restart after the initial incident, that was, of course, Vebjorn Danielsen. So very dramatic and certainly a crazy end to the day for the minis. But the next race is going to be very shortly after. That is going to be the Junior 60s. And they are getting underway very soon indeed.